Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 5-2 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, that was the first place team against the last place team, and boy, did it ever show. One team spends most of the season learning how to win with a young team, while the other team runs roughshod over the entire league. With the win last night, Tampa Bay literally has twice as many points as Ottawa now. 124 for Tampa Bay, 62 for Ottawa. Sure, it's extremely embarrassing that the Sens only have half as many points as Tampa Bay, but let's be honest, it's mostly because Tampa Bay is just a stupid good hockey team. Yeah, Ottawa only has 62 points, which is 4 fewer than anybody else in the league. It's actually 5 points, you idiot. But Tampa Bay has 17 more points than the next closest team, and they have a game in hand. I mean, Toronto's the 5th best team in the league. Tampa Bay's 25 points ahead of them. Tampa Bay also came into the contest with a goal differential 150 goals better than Ottawa. Tampa Bay was a plus 97, while Ottawa was a plus 53. And heading into the contest, it was a case of good and bad news for the Sens. The bad news was Tampa Bay was still chasing the all-time record for wins in a season, so they didn't rest anybody. But the good news was Victor Hedman didn't play because he continues to recover from an injury suffered on Saturday. On the Sens side of things, after a big win over the Leafs on Saturday, they kept the lineup exactly the same. Same 12 forwards, same 6 defensemen, and Andy got another start and goal. But while things were kept the same on the ice, off the ice, the Sens made a move to their roster. The Sens signed goalie prospect Joey Daccord to an entry-level contract after his team, the Arizona State Sun Devils, saw their season come to a close on the weekend. Daccord was a 7th-round pick of the Sens in 2015 and spent the last 3 seasons at Arizona State, where he saw significant improvement year over year. Over the course of his 3 seasons at Arizona State, Daccord saw his goals against go down by nearly 1.7 per game, and his save percentage increased by 34 points. After posting .403 and .892 splits in his first season with Arizona State, Daccord finished this season with a .235 goals against average and a .925 save percentage. Daccord enjoyed such a solid season at Arizona State that many people in the hockey world believe the only reason Arizona State had such a good season was because of Daccord. And this signing was a huge signing for the Sens. Like I mentioned, Daccord was a draft pick of the Sens in 2015, and because of that, he was eligible to become an unrestricted free agent later this summer. The fact that he ignored that opportunity and signed with the Sens anyway is huge news. Knowing that he could have had a choice of basically any team in the league, the fact that Pierre Dorion was able to convince him to sign in Ottawa is terrific. Now, I'm sure part of the reason he chose to sign in Ottawa was the fact that they could promise him playing time right away and he didn't have to wait till next season. But let's be honest, he just finished a full season of hockey, so if he wanted the time off and became a free agent later, you couldn't really blame him. The fact that he chose to come to Ottawa anyway is huge news, especially after watching Carlson, Stone, Duchesne, Dzingel all choose to play elsewhere. And not only that, but it's just another example of a guy to stash into the Sens system. They now have Marcus Hogberg, Philip Gustafsson, and Joey Daccord. If one of them can become a star, the Sens are set. If more than one of them can become a star, they're really set. But the key here is the fact that the Sens are starting to put lots of eggs in one basket instead of one egg in one basket. The Sens now have 3 goalie prospects they can add to their stable. That gives the team a little bit of flexibility. Getting Daccord signed was a big-time signing for the Sens, and hopefully we can see a solid performance before the end of the season. But because he just signed yesterday, he wasn't in the Sens lineup last night, and that was probably lucky for him. And while it was lucky for Daccord, it was unlucky for Anderson, who had to celebrate his 400th game in a Sens uniform by playing the league's top team. First of all, 400 games in Ottawa? I was honestly really surprised to hear that. Sure, he's been here a while, but between injuries and the fact that he was a goalie and shortened seasons, the fact that he's already at 400 is just insane to me. But congratulations to him. Just unfortunate the timing. And after a bit of an inauspicious start, Tampa Bay makes sure to congratulate Anderson in a really brutal way. Point steals the puck from the Sens behind their own goal. He feeds Kucherov on the far side, who's coming off the bench. He feeds Gord in front, who's wide open. He literally just goes, boink, taps the puck in the net, and Tampa Bay leads 1-0. Just pathetic defense. When Gord puts the puck in, there's 5 Sens in the frame and 3 Lightning. But guess how many are covering Gord? That's right, 0. You would think after the way Andy played on Saturday, and the fact that it was his 400th game, the Sens might actually make an effort to cover people in front of their net. Guess not. Fortunately for the Sens, they would keep coming and would tie the game. With the Lightning on a change and just over a minute left in the period, Dylan DeMello hits Brady Tkachuk at the Lightning blue line. He skates in, hits the top of the circle, fires a wrister that gets through the legs of Vasilevsky, and just like that, we're tied at 1. That's Brady Tkachuk's 21st of the season and sets a new Sens record for goals by a teenager. While it's been really hard to know that this season has been a lost season and the Sens don't have their first round pick, at least we've had Brady. Imagine what this season would have been like if we gave up the pick and didn't have Brady. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm dumb, maybe I'm crazy, but I'd rather have Tkachuk than either of Capo Caco or Jack Hughes. Sure, they might be better offensively, but neither one of them are going to play Tkachuk hockey. And at least if they're not winning games, I get some entertainment value out of watching Tkachuk tick off the other team. I see him having a huge career in the NHL, and I hope to see him doing it lots in an Ottawa uniform. Tkachuk's goal stands up through the end of the first. As we get to the first intermission, tied at 1. Unfortunately, after the Sens outshot the Lightning 11-5 in the first period, things completely came undone in the second. The Lightning score the only 2 goals of the period and outshoot the Sens 10-4. The first of those goals come just shy of 8 minutes in, as Mikhail Sergachev has the puck at the blue line, fires a shot on goal, Anderson is screened, never sees it, it goes in, and Tampa Bay leads 2-1. And once again, the Sens don't cover the front of the net and hang Andy out to dry. Last time it was an easy tap-in, this time it was an easy screen. Then with just over 6 minutes left in the period, yeah, the Sens hang Andy out to dry again. Point has the puck in the Sens zone, he fires a shot towards the goal, misses the net, Gord picks it up, passes the puck through his legs, Point goes to the front of the net, none of the Sens follow him, he bangs it by Andy, and the Lightning lead 3-1. Now, there have been a few Sens defensemen who have looked really good at times this season, and one of them is Christian Wolanin, but boy oh boy is he an adventure in his own end. Wolanin was the one that didn't chase Point to the net, and that gave the Lightning the goal. Wolanin is a terrific offensive player, but he needs to learn how to play in his own end. Thankfully, he's a young guy, and he still has time to grow. If he can add a defensive game to build around his offensive game, man oh man is he going to be a good defenseman. But he's got to do a better job in his own zone than he did on this one. Thankfully for the Sens and their fans, they get to the end of the second period and still only trail 3-1. And after the chances that Tampa Bay had in the second period, it was a minor miracle. An even bigger miracle, not too long into period 3, the Sens actually make it a game. Just over 4.5 minutes into period 3, and the Sens on the power play, Max Verno has the puck between the goal line and the bottom of the faceoff circle. He fires a weird angled shot that goes between the ear of Vasilevsky and over the bar in the corner of the net, and just like that, it's 3-2 Lightning. I mean, that's just incredible. Verno literally had an empty spot in the net that big. That big. And he still got the puck to go through it and in the goal. Man alive, what a goal. Unfortunately, as is typical Ottawa Senators hockey, they do a terrible job of following that up with another good shift. Not even a minute later, the Sens fall asleep, Yanni Gord gets a stretch pass, races in all alone on a breakaway, fires a shot that Andy stops most of, but not all of, it rolls over him, goes in the net, and Tampa Bay leads 4-2. How that goal even happens, I have no idea. By the time the camera cuts to Gord, he's about 7 feet into the zone. He looked way offside, but then the Sens didn't challenge because apparently he actually was onside. My first reaction when this goal goes in? No way that counts. Gord was way offside. When Coburn hit Gord with the stretch pass, the camera cuts to Gord, he's 7 feet in the zone. Yet somehow, he managed to stay onside. My second reaction was, oh man, we just scored! And then of course the third reaction was, can somebody play defense please? They do play defense for a while, but the league-leading Lightning would score again. Then with just over 3 minutes left in the period, the Lightning race in 3-on-2, Palat to Joseph to Stamkos, he fires one by Anderson, and it's 5-2 Lightning. I mean, at this point, who cares? The game's long over anyway. But, that defense is bad. Fortunately, that Stamkos goal would be the final goal of the night, and the Lightning skate away with just a 5-2 win. I hate this team's defensive effort. I mean, all 5 goals were correctable. Again. And yet, we're at game 79, and we still haven't corrected them. Thank goodness we're 3 games from the end of this season. I can't wait to be done with this. Let's just get into good news, bad news. What do I even say after that? I mean, there's not really anything good to say, but I guess we'll go with Ottawa's effort, and that is the good news. Were they great last night? No, but they had 37 hits and 20 blocked shots. The fact that we're near the end of the season, Ottawa's been way out of it for a very long time, and they're playing the best team in the league last night, they still put an effort in, and they still showed that they're willing to put their body on the line. That's important, maybe not for the end of this year, but to build good habits for next year. Playing the right way, which includes blocking shots and throwing hits, is very important. The Sens were able to do that last night, and that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. I mean, we could go with defense, and that would be very fair, but last night's bad news was actually their offense. Sure, they scored twice. They had a Brady Tkachuk snipe and a disgusting goal by Verano. But Ottawa finished last night's game with 19 even-strength shots on goal, and that is just unacceptable. There was over 48 minutes of 5-on-5 play last night. The Sens had 19 shots in that time. That's a shot every more than 2 minutes. If you want to win hockey games, getting that few shots is just not going to cut it. Ottawa didn't do a good enough job of generating shots last night. Offensively, they weren't good enough because of it, and that is the bad news. Next up, the Sens return to action on Wednesday when they visit the New York Rangers. That contest will be the third and final meeting of the season between the two teams, with the teams currently splitting the season series 1-1. The teams haven't met since the end of November, as those games came twice in 4 days, with the Rangers winning 4-2 in New York and Ottawa winning 3-0 in Ottawa. Lately though, yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for the Rangers, as they have just 4 wins in their last 18 games. Over the course of the full season though, yeah, it's been a little bit less close, as the Rangers sit 26th in the league, 13 points ahead of the Sens. And to underline just how far things have fallen and how terribly things have gone in Ottawa recently, the Sens will get to meet familiar face and former Sen Mika Zibanejad. After being an inconsistent force with Ottawa, Zibanejad has 72 points in 79 games with the Rangers this season. Please don't let him destroy you. See you Wednesday night.